This is the first question for all x. You gotta solve this equation. So here you will have to FOIL. So when you FOIL, you gotta do the first times the third, first times the fourth, and then second times third, and second times fourth. So what you have here is an equation. So first, like this, okay? Every time you FOIL, you will have to think of multiplication. So 3x times 4x first, which is 12x squared. 3x times -3 is -9x. 4x times 4, which is 16x, and plus 4 times -3 is -12. After you have this step, you will have to combine like terms, which is these two terms. So 12x squared, -9 plus 16 is positive 7x minus 12. So the answer is D. Here is the second question, and it says if a tree grew 5 feet in n years, it doesn't give you how many years, what was the average rate at which the tree grew in inches per year? We will have to know that 1 feet is equal to 12 inches. Okay, so that means if it's given that it's 5 feet in n years, okay, so 5 feet is equal to 60 inches. So this means it's 60 inches over years, right? So you just have to know that 1 feet is equal to 12 inches. So 5 times 12 is 60 inches. So here I am gonna just put here a random number. So let's say 2, only because I know that 2 is just an easy number to handle. So I'm just gonna write 2 here. So if it was 60 inches over 2 years, that would grow 30 inches per year. Okay, so I'm just giving a random number just so I can check each one of these, which one would also give me the 30. So if I plug it in, same number, so n is equal to 2, 60 divided by 2 will be 30. So it seems like A is the answer because none of them will work. If I plug in here on the D, let's say here I plug it in 2, n equals 2, that will be 1 over 30. That would not be equal to 30. Okay, same way here, 5 over 12 n. Okay, so if I plug it in 2 into the n, it will be 5 over 24, which is not going to be 30. So the answer is A, because once I plug it in any random number, and the reason why I'm choosing 2 is just because it's an easy, simple number. Okay, and then it will be the same. All right, so this is the third question of the practice test, and it says in the figure above, if the perimeter of rectangle ABCD is 56, so you can see the figure here, the perimeter of this whole thing is 56, but the length of AD is 16. What is the area of ABCD? Well, if it is a rectangle, that means if this is 16, this has to be 16, right? So you have a rectangle where 16 and 16 here. However, the perimeter, which is the sum of all the sides, is going to be 56. So that means I have to find this side right here. So 16 plus 16 is 32. So 56, which is the total perimeter, minus 32, is equal to 24, which means that the sum of these two sides are 24. Divided by 2, that means each side will be 12, because both of them will be 24. And to find the area of ABC, so ABCD, which is the area of a rectangle, all you need to do is get the length times the width. So 12 times 16. So 12 times 16 is equal to 192. It seems like D is the answer to this question. This is question number 4 of the practice test, and it's just completing this sentence. A square is a rectangle with 4 something sides. Okay, so the answer to this one will be A, equal. Okay, this is the correct answer because a square is a rectangle. So square is a rectangle of 4 same side. Square has to be all same sides. That is a square. Question number 5, it says in some inequalities like A less than B and then B is less than C, which of the following must be true? So here, there are different ways to solve, but let's approach the easiest method. It's plugging in numbers. Okay, so if A is less than B, I know that B has to be a greater number than A. So I'm just going to give a random number here on the A, B, and C. So A being a 2, and B is going to be 3 in this case because I know that B is going to be greater than A. So any number that is greater than 2, I'm going to put as a 3 just because it's easy numbers. And C has to be greater than B, so I'm going to put 4. And one way to solve this question is really plug it in and see if it makes sense. So B plus C is 7. Okay, so it's saying that 7 is less than 2 times A, which is 4. This is an incorrect statement because 7 is greater than 4. Okay, so this is wrong. A is not the answer. So A plus B, 2 plus 3 is 5, is less than 4. No, that's also an incorrect statement because 5 is greater than 4. So B is not the answer. A minus B, so 2 minus 3 is minus 1, is less than B minus C. So 3 minus 4 is minus 1. It is not greater. It's actually equal, right? So negative 1 is equal to negative 1. So C is not the answer as well. So I only have D left. It seems like D is the answer, but let's check it. So A plus B is 2 plus 3, which is 5, is less than 2 times C, which is 8. This seems to be a correct answer. 5, it is less than 8. So D is the right answer here. Here is question number 6. It says x is equal to 2z, y is equal to 3z, and it shows the figure, which is a triangle, but next to it has an angle of y. So the first thing I can assume here is that x plus y is equal to 180. That is because your supplemental, it's in the lines on this one line, so it's supplemental angle. And well, if x is 2z, so 2z plus what is y? Y they're saying is 3z is equal to 180. So I'm just substituting this x and y with the information given. So 2z plus 3z is equal to 5z equals 180. So z will be 36 because 180 divided by 5, it will be 36 degrees, which then the answer will be C. Number 7, the question says, if the minute hand of properly functioning clock has just moved 45 degrees, how many minutes has passed while it did so? So first thing you gotta know is, of course, we have 60 minutes in 1 hour, right? And then we have in degrees, we have total of 360 degrees. So I'm gonna make a proportion, the ratios here. It says that it's 45 degrees. So 45 degrees has to be out of 360 because the total is 360. So this is going to be parts that it's given, parts on the numerator, and then total, it's going to be on the denominator. This is going to be equal to whatever they're asking. So what are they asking? How many minutes has passed? So minutes is what I need to know, the part of the minute that has passed. I'm going to put a total of 60 minutes. Okay, so this is a proportion question. Remember, you have to have parts on the top and total on the bottom, being the first one is going to be degrees, okay, and the second one has to be time. So once this is set up, then you can just cross multiply and find the n. Once I cross multiply, I'm going to have n is equal to 45 times 60 over 360. Okay, so instead of doing all this multiplication with huge numbers and dividing this huge number by 360, I'm just going to use the method of simplification. So I'm going to simplify this 0, and then 6, 1, and 6. So then you have n is equal to 45 over 6. This is so much easier than working with big numbers, especially in this test where you need to save every second of your time. So here, I'm going to see the answers. I have 6, 7.5, 12.5, and 27. Well, I know that this is going to be around 7 point something. So 7 point maybe 5, something like that. I don't have to do all this calculation. The moment I see that it's going to be 7 something, I already know my answer will be B. Question number 8. Ask for the area of this figure, which is a triangle. So you guys know that to find the area of a triangle is base times height over 2. So the base here is 6 times the height 4 divided by 2. Here you can just simply guess 6 times 4 is 24 divided by 2 is 12. So the answer will be C. Number 9 gives you a parallel 2 line and a transversal line. So here we know that which one is corresponding, which one are the same angles. So here, what is the value of y? Well, I know that 65 is corresponding to this angle right here, right? So if this angle right here is the same, 65, that means the supplement of 65 is the missing angle. So 180 minus 65 is equal to 115, which the answer seems to be B. Question number 10 is 15% of 15% of 200. So this is a percentage question. You have different ways to solve this. You can simply do once, everything at once, or you can do in parts. So here, first, you could do 15% of 15%. So that means just put it into decimal, 0.15 times 0.15 times 200. Okay, so this is going to get you to the answer right away. Or you could do 15% of 200. So you could do 0.15 times 200, get the answer, and from this answer, you're going to do another 15%. So let's try to do both, okay, and see which one you prefer. So here, I always like to put in fraction because it gives me an option to simplify the fractions, and it's much easier. So 100 with 200 is going to be 1 to 2, and then 2 with 100 is going to be 50 because I'm both dividing by 2. Okay, so then I am going to get 15. This is not decimal anymore because I made it a fraction, right? So here I have 15 over 50 times 15. I just rewrote it, so it's easier for me to see. I'm going to divide both 5, 3, 10. So what I have here, I'm just keep dividing it, okay? Simplifying by 5. So in the end, I'm going to have 9 over 2, which is 4.5. Okay, so 4.5, it seems like the answer is A. Okay, so here I just keep simplifying. This is why I love fraction, because I can just simplify. I think that's much easier than you trying to do 15 times 15 and then have a big number, the big number dividing it by 50 again. If you're fine by multiplication and division like this, go ahead and do it. For me, I do take some time in dividing big numbers, so I always prefer simplifying fractions. So it's gonna give me 4.5. Now I'm gonna do the second way, okay? Even though I know that the answer is A, I'm gonna do the second way to see which one you prefer. So you can choose whichever is easier for you. So here is in parts. I'm going to first do 0.15. So I'm going to do 15 over 100 times 200. So it's the first part of the question, the 15% of 200. Same thing. I'm going to simplify by 100. So 15 times 2 will be 30. Okay, so the next step is another 15%. So I have to get this answer, and I'm going to do another 15% of this answer right here. Okay, so here I'm going to simplify the same way. I'm going to simplify top and bottom by 5, which gives me 3 over 2. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9 over 2. So I get 4.5. Well, obviously I got the same answer, which is A. But this was just step-by-step equations I do separately. Here, I did everything at once. Okay, so whichever it's easier for you, you still get the same answer. Question number 11. What is the average or arithmetic mean of 1 over 20 and 1 over 30? This is a very tricky question because a lot of people will go for answer A right away because you're going to do 20 plus 30, which is 50, and then they're going to divide. 50 divided by 2 is 25. This is a trap. Don't fall for it. Always you're going to put this answer on the answer choices because they know a lot of people would do that. But remember, average means you have to add all the terms. Okay, so in this case, it's 1 over 20 plus 1 over 30. And you have to divide by the number of terms. I have 1 term and 2 terms. So I'm going to divide by 2. So this is the right answer. So let's just do the math. 20 and 30, the least common denominator is 60. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this by 3, top and bottom, and multiply this by 2, top and bottom. This is going to get me 3 plus 2. Okay, so this is equal to 5 over 60 divided by 2. So once I have 5 over 60, once you have 2 over 1 here in denominator, remember that you have to flip the denominator when you're dividing. So this is multiplying 1 over 2. Okay, so this is going to be 5 over 120. Okay, this is simplify. I'm going to simplify both by 5, 1 over 24. So the answer here should be 1 over 24, which is B. Okay, don't fall for a trap of answer choice A. Whenever you do the average question, you have to always add these numbers, divide by the number of terms. Question number 12 says, if an angle measures y degrees, what will its supplement measure in terms of y? So y can be any number, okay? Y could be 30 degrees, 50 degrees, and its supplement means 180. So let's say y degree is 30. So if they ask you what's a supplement of 30 degrees, all you need to do is having 180 minus 30, which then gives you 150. So in here is in terms of y. So first thing you gotta notice is that, okay, my answer has to have 180 because it's a supplement. If it was complement, it will be 90. So I can already cross it out, A and B. I'm gonna end with C and D, 180. And here you have to know that your answer will have to be C. Okay, C is your answer because every time you find a supplement, you have to get 180 minus the number, the angle given. Okay, so C will be the right answer here. Number 13 is a word problem. Diane painted 1 over 3 of her room with 2.5 cans of paint. How many more cans of paint will she need to finish painting her room? Well, if she painted 1 over 3, she needs another 2 over 3 left to paint because she already did 1 over 3, right? So 1 minus 1 over 3 is 2 over 3. So I know that 2 over 3 is how much she still needs to paint. So here, all she needs to do is get 2 times 2, 1.5, which is the number, okay, the amount of the cans, which is, if you do the fraction, you're gonna have 5 over 2. So then simplify, you're going to have 5. Okay, so the answer will be B. Number 14, this is a very common question on the ASVAB test. When they give you one equation and they ask you to find another, so b minus a, that's the question they're asking. In order to do this, you don't have to solve for a or solve for b. All you need to do is just move some terms to the left or right until you get what you're asking. So in this case, I am just going to move the 25 to the other side and then the a to the right. So then I'm going to have 13 minus 25 equals b minus a. So then b minus a is what they're asking right here. So in this case, if I just find b minus a, which is negative, so 13 minus 25, so 25 is 12. So negative 12 is going to be b minus a. So then the answer is D. So here, make sure you don't need to waste your time trying to find the value of A or value of B. All you need to do is make an equation to look like exactly what they are asking. Question number 15. This is an exponent question. And this seems to be very simple, easy question, but somehow people get a lot of mistake because they get the exponents wrong. So here, be careful when you have an exponent question and you have a multiplication, always remember you have to add the exponent. So here, 3 times 5 is 15, so you can just eliminate A and B right away. So you're gonna end with C and D. So the exponent here, a lot of people will do multiplication, do 2 times 3, then they're going to go with D, but be careful when you have a multiplication, you got to add the exponents. So 3 times 5 is 15, x, and then 2 plus 3 is 5. So the answer here will be C. This is question number 16. If the sides of a square increase in length by 10%, the area of the square increases by. Okay, so in this question like this, it's always good to make a random square. Okay, so I have any random square. I'm gonna give a random number so I can do an increase by a 10%. I'm gonna choose 10 only because 10 is a very easy number for me to do an increase by 10%. Okay, so if it was 10 times 10, my area will be 100, right? This will be the area of the square. Let's say if I increase length by 10%, so 10% of 10 is 1. So my other square would be, that is an increase in size, will be 11 times 11, which then the area will be 11 times 11 is 121. So from the first square, which is 100 area, to the second square after an increase, you have 121. That means I had an increase from 100 to 121, which is 21%. Okay, so that's why I made it 10. So it's easy for me to work with percentage because percentage is always 100, right? So 21%, the answer will be D. Number 17. This is a very classic, very common question on the ASVAB test. You have to find a m on the first equation in order to plug it in onto the second equation. So m over 2 is equal 15. Whenever you have a fraction like this, just cross multiply, or you can just multiply both sides by 2. So then if I multiply both sides by 2, I cancel this, which then is m equals to 30, because 15 times 2 is 30. You already know the m. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. You already have the answer, which is B. So do you see that here? You're just plug it in, the 30 into this m. It's the second equation. This is a factoring problem on number 18. It says, which of the following is a factor of 6x squared minus 13x plus 6? So here I have to do the trinomial, the factoring one, which then I have to find the factors of 6, which it could be 2 and 3. And then I have to find the factors of 6 again, which it could be 2 and 3 again. But since because it has a positive, but the middle sign is a negative, I know that this 2 will have to be minus and minus, because once I cross multiply, somehow I would have to get a negative 13. So once I multiply here is negative 6, and then 2 times negative 3 is another negative 6. This will not give me negative 13. It will give me negative 12. So another trial, another one I'm going to try is I'm just going to flip these two numbers. Okay, so 3. This is again a trial and error question where you just have to kind of mix and match the numbers until when I cross multiply, I get the middle number. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, which then it will give me negative 13, which is the middle number. So here I know that these are going to be my factors. So the question is, which of the following factor is, for this quadratic equation? So I'm going to look for it. Well, 2x minus 3 is not here. 3x minus 2 is right here on C. So the answer is C. Question number 19 is given. If the product of 3 and x is equal to 2 less than y. So this is a word problem question. Which of the following must be true? All right, so here it says that a product of 3 and x. So a product here means multiplication. 3 times x. 3 times x is equal, so equal sign, to 2 less than y. The less means subtracted. Subtracted from y. So y minus 2. Okay, so 3x is equal to y minus 2. Which one must be true? Well, based on the answer choices, it seems like all of the equation is in one side, which is on the left side. So I'm going to move all this to the left side. So therefore, I'm going to have 3x minus y, because I'm moving y to the left side. Remember, every time you move something, the term to the other side, it will change the sign. So I'm going to have this equation, everything on the left, which then I think, let's see, D is the answer. D has exactly same equation that I got. Question number 20. Okay, it says if x is greater than 1, and then they give you this whole equation, and they want me to find b over a. So first thing that a lot of people try to do is, well, I have to find the number of the number of a, the number of b, so then I can plug it in here. You don't really have to find these numbers. All you need to do is just to get into the equation that they want, b over a. Okay, another thing is a lot of people get intimidated by this inequality. Okay, so don't ever get scared by this inequality here, because all they want to tell you is this x is greater than 1, okay? Because the denominator cannot be 0, cannot be, it couldn't be negative. So all they want to know is that, okay, it has to be greater than 1. So don't ever get intimidated by this term, because it won't do anything on this question. So here, all I need to do is to just solve this part, the right part right here. So let's try this. A over b is equal to, I'm going to put everything on the same denominator, okay? So then I'm going to multiply this one by x and this one by x, because I want the same denominator to be x, which then I'm going to have x minus 1. Okay, so once I have the same denominator, okay, then I'm pretty much done. All I need to do is just cross multiply. Okay, once I cross multiply, that means I will have somehow b over a, because what I'm doing here is just flipping the b over a. That means I will have to flip these guys here too. Once you flip the first part, the second part also has to be flipped. So my answer seems to be A. Okay, it's just write the same answer. Or you can try to cross multiply. Let's try to cross multiply to see how this is going to end up. AX is equal to BX minus 1. Okay, but I want to know B over A, so I'm going to do B over A. And I know that A is multiplying with the X, so I have to put the X on the top and this guy is on the bottom, because if I cross multiply again, I will have to have A and X together. Okay, so this will, it's just still the same answer, and it will be A. Question number 21 is a geometry question. And here it says the solid above is half of a cube. So it would have the half right here, but it's cut in half, so it's just half of the entire cube. Then the volume of solid is, so they want you to know, figure out the volume of this solid. So don't go ahead and just calculate the volume, plug it in the numbers, okay? The first thing you have to look here is that everything is 90 degrees, which means that all this will be 45 degrees. So this angle right here, this angle right here, they're all 45. And if this is 90 degrees, of course, this will be also 90 degrees. I mean, it's a cube, so a cube has to have a 90 degrees angle. So basically, you see a triangle with 90 degrees, 45 degrees on the other angles. If I have 4 square root of 2, you would have to know that whenever you have an isosceles triangle where you have the same sides because you have the same angles, this will be 4 and 4, okay? By rule, whenever you have 4 or any number, okay, let's say it's just x, okay? X and x, that means my hypotenuse will be x square root of 2. All right, so once I know this, well, since it's 4 square root of 2, it's given, I know that my other sides will be 4. Once I found that out, that I know that this is 4, that means this will also be 4, okay, because this is a cube, so they are all the same. All right, so in order to find the volume, I will have to use all the 3 measurements, which is 4 times 4 times 4 by the formula, because it's the width times the depth times the height. Okay, so all this will be giving 64 as an answer of the volume, but this is half of a cube, which means that in the end, I have to divide by 2, which then gives me 32. So the answer here will be C, because half of a volume will be only 32 in this case. Question number 22 says, when 7.6 is divided by 0.019, the quotient is, so what they're asking is 7.6 being divided by 0.019. Okay, this is what they're asking. So I don't have to do all this calculation. So it seems like what they want to know is how many 0 will be after the 4. Okay, so here is a decimal question. I have to move the decimal whatever times I need here. So I can see that I have 0, 1, and 9. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. 3 decimals to the right. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top. So 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna stop here. That means I have to put the 0, fill up with the zeros. So I'm gonna have 7,600 divided by 19. Okay, I know that one of my answers will be 4 because all of my answers will be 4. So here, what I need to do is, well, 19 times 4 will be 76, right? So I just need to put the 2 zeros that is left. My answer is B. Question number 23. What is the area of a circle with a circumference of 8? So for this question, we will have to remember the formula of the area of a circle. Okay, so the area of a circle is pi r squared, r being the radius. Here, there is an information that the circumference is going to be 8. but I know that the formula for circumference is going to be 2 pi r, right? So, well, if the pi's are the same, the radius are the same, it seems like all I need to do is figure out what the radius is and then just plug it in back to the area equation. So I'm going to do that. So from here, I am just going to divide by 2, which then gives me 4. Okay, so then it seems like r is equal to 4 over pi. Okay, so once I have the radius, I'm going to plug this radius back to the first equation. So when I plug into the first equation, I have pi times 4 over pi square. If I have the square, I'm going to have pi times 16 over pi square, which if I cancel, I'm going to only end with 16 over pi. So the answer will be B. Here, remember that a lot of people would try to plug it in 3.14 into the pi, but look at the answer choices. Everything is given in terms of pi, so you don't have to waste your time plug it in 3.14, okay? That's why it's important to check the answer choices before you do the calculations. Question number 24 is a percentage question. It says 36% of 18 is 18% of one number. As soon as you read this question, it feels a little intimidating because it's just a lot of percentage question and it sounds very hard. But all you need to do is put this English, the words into translating into the math. So I'm gonna do step by step. Okay, so 36%, I'm gonna move this into fraction. 36 over 100. Okay, that's a 36% of 18. Remember, whenever you have a percentage question, whenever you have of, that means multiplication. Okay, so 36% of 18 is equal to 18%. So 18 over 100 of what number? So it's x. Is x is what I need to know, right? What number I need to know. And then you're done, okay? So you're done with translating. All I need to do is just math here. So here I have 36 times 18. I'm gonna try to just cancel this both sides, okay? Because I can think of dividing both sides by 18. All right, so then I'm gonna have 36 over 100 equals x over 100. If I multiply both sides by 100, I can even cancel this too, right? So then x will be equal to 36. Then you're done. Answer is B. Here is a question, number 25, is the last question of the test. And it's an approximation question. So it says square root of 104,906 is between which two numbers? Okay, so I have to approximate. The first answer is 100. So to have 100, I will have to have this, 10,000, right? To have, so a square root of 10,000 will be equal to 100. Okay, the same way that if I get let's say 300, I would have to have 9 and then 4 zeros, so then I can have 2 zeros here. So this would be 9,000, 90,000. So here I know that 90,000 is still less than 104,000, which means that this seems to be closer, much closer than 100. So I'm gonna remove 100 and remove 200 because 90,000 it's still less than 104, and I'm gonna try to do for 400. So to have a 400, I have to have 16 and then 4 zeros, 2, 3, 4, which means I have to have a 160,000, which is less. So it seems like this number, this big number, is in between 90,000 and 160,000, So it has to be in between these two numbers, which means my answer will be C.